In the holy land of Mary Joyce, slaves don't live, they survive, beaten, starved, broken. In this hell, food is life and stealing it means death. But on that day when everyone fought like animals just to eat, one boy gave up his food, not for survival, but for someone else. That boy would one day become a man the entire world feared, and this moment would become a debt that could never be repaid. Chapter 3. The Future Tyrant. Holy Land, Mary Joy's slave dungeon. The dungeon was cold, not the kind of cold that touched the skin, but the kind that seeped into the bones. The space was vast, nearly the size of a small arena, yet it felt suffocating. Damp air lingered heavily, mixed with the stench of sweat, blood, and decay. Faint sounds echoed in the distance. Low sobs, desperate knocking, all of it swallowed by the darkness, like a place abandoned by hope. Hiss! A sharp breath escaped Logan's lips. Pain spread from his shoulder and the back of his head, dragging him back into consciousness. His body felt light, too light, weak. He slowly lowered his gaze. A crude bandage was wrapped around his shoulder, stained faintly with blood. His memory came back in fragments. The slave ship, the auction, the celestial dragons meet Mary Joyce. His voice was hoarse. Celestial dragons. The words felt heavy in his mouth. The collar around his neck shifted as he moved, followed by the dull clink of iron chains at his feet. Logan stilled. This place was the center of power, the Holy Land, and for someone like him, it was a prison with no exit. Even if he survived long enough to obtain his devil fruit, escape was still impossible. The collar alone was enough to end his life in an instant, without a key, without overwhelming strength. There was no way out. A quiet thought formed. Arena battles, forced labor, endless humiliation. His gaze lowered slightly. So this is what awaits. There was no anger in his expression, only a cold understanding. "You're awake!" A voice broke the silence. Low, hoarse. Logan looked up. A large figure sat nearby, partially hidden in the shadows. Even seated, the boy's size was imposing. Thick chains hung from his limbs, heavier than Logan's. The faint light from a high, barred window revealed his face. Calm, quiet. "You treated my wound?" Logan asked. His voice was still weak but steady. The boy nodded. "Yes." A brief pause followed. Then, "My name is Bartholomew Kuma." His gaze lowered slightly. "They don't use our names here, but you can." Logan's pupils shrank for a moment. His breathing stopped. Bartholomew Kuma. That name echoed in his mind. A future warlord, a man feared across the seas, a revolutionary, a symbol of sacrifice. Logan stared at him, unable to hide the shock. "Kuma," the word slipped out before he could stop it. "That tyrant?" Kuma blinked. A rare flicker of confusion crossed his face. "Tyrant?" He tilted his head slightly. "I don't know what that means." A faint pause. "I'm just a slave." Logan froze, then quickly looked away. "Sorry, I must have remembered it wrong." He forced a calm tone, though his heart was still racing. This wasn't the future. This was before everything, before the world knew his name, before he became something greater. "I thank you," Logan said after a moment, "for the bandage." A brief pause. "From now on, we're friends." Kuma repeated the word softly. Friends. Something changed in his expression. Faint, but real. "It's almost time," Kuma said quietly. "For food." His voice remained calm, but his eyes grew more serious. "You need to eat. In here, food is taken by force. If you don't eat, you die." Heavy footsteps echoed from outside. A harsh voice followed. "Food time! Move!" A barrel was shoved toward the cell. Inside, leftovers, rotten scraps, food discarded by nobles. The reaction was immediate. The slaves surged forward, silent, fierce, like starving beasts. "Stay behind me," Kuma said. Before Logan could respond, Kuma moved. His large frame forced space through the crowd, his arm extending into the barrel. Logan felt his hand being grabbed. "Come." Kuma pulled him forward just enough. Then, with a swift motion, he seized a portion of food. Water splashed, voices rose, but he didn't stop. Moments later, they retreated. Back to the corner, away from the chaos. Kuma handed him the food. "Eat." Logan looked at it, then at Kuma. "I'm fine." The answer came without hesitation, too quickly. Logan didn't respond. He understood. In this place, food was life, and Kuma had given his share away. He lowered his gaze, then slowly began to eat. The taste was foul, almost unbearable, but he didn't stop. Each bite hurt, not just his body, but something deeper. "Thank you," Logan said quietly. Kuma didn't answer. He simply leaned back against the wall, silent. Logan tightened his grip slightly, his eyes lowered, but his voice was steady. I won't forget it." A pause. "Then, not here? Not like this." He raised his head, his gaze calm but firm. "One day, we'll leave this place." The dungeon remained silent, but something had changed. A promise had been made, and Logan had no intention of breaking it. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.